Hi everyone, I'm Kevin Nelson for Catholic Newsbreak. Here's what's happening this week in the news. We begin from the Vatican. During Pope Benedict's weekly general audience, he continued his talk on the Psalms. The gathering was followed by a meeting with Catholic charity experts to discuss Africa. Catholic News Service's John Davis has more on the audience and the Pope's meeting.
Pope Benedict held his general audience in St. Peter's Square today. The Pope is doing a set of talks on the Psalms, part of an ongoing series on prayer. At the end of the audience, the Pope made an appeal for the dramatic situation in the Horn of Africa, where hundreds of thousands have been displaced by drought and famine. Many of these people have ended up in refugee camps in Kenya after making long and risky overland journeys from Somalia. The UN says tens of thousands of Africans have already died and that 750,000 people are in danger of dying over the next few months. All this has led the Vatican to convene a meeting of Catholic charity experts to discuss the African situation and see how the Church can increase its assistance to the region. The Pope today greeted some of the participants of that meeting, including Ken Hackett, the director of CRS, Catholic Relief Services. That is the U.S. Bishops' Relief Organization, which is working very hard to save lives in the Kenyan refugee camps. A week ago, CRS made an appeal for $5 million to build water and sanitation facilities in a new camp near the Somali border. People can donate online at crs.org.
Also during the audience, the Pope received the Apostle Jason of Thessaloniki Gold Medal from the Theology Department from the University of Thessaloniki in Greece. And now looking at news from around the country, Archbishop Wilton Gregory of Atlanta is warning against parish priests becoming narrow in their vision of the world that lies just beyond the confines of their parish. The Archbishop made his remarks at a symposium on the priesthood at Catholic University of America, CUA. The conference focused on Why Priests Are Happy, which is a new book by Monsignor Stephen Rossetti, an associate professor of clinical pastoral studies at CUA. Archbishop Gregory, who was one of 4 speakers at the symposium, said parish priests receive immediate and frequently expressed affirmation from their parishioners, but must not avoid trying to serve a world that is beyond their comfort zones. Speaking to the 300 priests, seminarians, faculty members, and students, the Archbishop suggested regular priestly gatherings that go beyond a merely casual alliance of religious professionals to invite and allow sincere and honest sharing across age, cultural, ethnic, and ideological differences. He also said that a solid prayer life and reliance on the sacraments must be central to any priest's ministry. Archbishop Gregory has headed the Atlanta Archdiocese since 2005 and was previously Bishop of Belleville, Illinois, and an auxiliary bishop in Chicago. Another note from the Vatican, St. Faustina Kowalska, who is a Polish nun, may soon become a doctor of the Church, thanks to the efforts of several cardinals. Rome Reports has more on those advocating for the cause and what it takes to become a doctor of the Church.
Sister Faustina Kowalska is already a Polish saint. A group of cardinals is hoping she'll also be a doctor of the Church. 7 cardinals wrote to the Pope asking him to begin the process. Among the cardinals is one of the Pope's former students, Vienna's Archbishop Christoph Schönborn. Also included is Hong Kong's former Bishop Cardinal Joseph Zen and John Paul II Secretary Stanislas de Siwis. The entire process usually takes several decades. The honor is given to those who offered contributions to theology that still remain relevant regardless of time. The Church has 34 doctors, of which only 3 are women. They include St. Teresa of Avila, St. Catherine of Siena, and St. Therese of Lisieux. The next doctor of the Church is Spaniard San Juan de Avila. The Pope made the announcement during World Youth Day in Madrid.
And finally in the news, Mercy Sister Julia Norton, who is the director of the Sister Regis Food Cupboard in Rochester, New York, has seen a growing number of young Puerto Ricans, Mexicans, and African Americans troubled by a lack of jobs. She said the numbers have tripled to 850 households who now visit the pantry every month, compared with her first days on the job in 2008. The cupboard is located in northeast Rochester, which is experiencing some of its greatest economic challenges since Sister Julia arrived 38 years ago to minister in the city's Hispanic community. The U.S. Census Bureau statistics for 2010 shows that over 26% of Hispanics, about 13 million people, are poor, which is over a 1% increase from 2009. Action for a Better Community, New York's network of community action agencies, found that the Hispanic poverty rate in Rochester was over 43% in 2010, the highest it has ever been. Sister Julia attributes this to single parenting and people not finishing high school. This keeps Hispanics poor, and she says it will keep the next generation poor as well. Census Bureau data also shows that the number of poor Hispanic children in the U.S. jumped to almost 9% in 2010 to over 6 million, surpassing for the first time the number of poor white children at 5 million. An analysis by the Pew Hispanic Center in Washington attributed the rapid rise in poverty among Hispanic children to the growing number of Hispanics, high birth rates, and declining economic fortunes. Well, that is all the information we have for you at this time. Please stay with Catholic TV for more Catholic news. Until then, I'm Kevin Nelson, and I'll see you next time on Catholic Newsbreak.